Today we're measuring this red stag head in SCI measuring, which is Safari Club International. It's an international measuring system, and we're also going to measure it in Douglas system, which is the New Zealand and Australian way of measuring heads. Pig's jaws, there's lots of different methods. So for the SCI it is method 20, that's the sheet you need to look for online, and for Douglas the sheet you need to look for is called round deer horns. So before we start with a head, the right side is the animal's right side, it's not as you look at it. So if you're behind the head, this is the right side, this is the left. Not if you're looking at it from front on, that would be the left and that would be the right. So it's as the animal is. One things you're going to need the forms obviously, and a pen, a soft tape measure. They use them for sewing and things like that, just a soft tape measure. A ruler. For the Douglas you'll need a piece of chalk, and I use rubber bands just to mark points once I've measured them. So these two rubber bands I've got on here now are for, so I know what the main beam is. I've just kind of looked through the main beam. Easiest way to find it is to look for the bloodline, like the white lines in the antlers. I'm going to use another camera as well to give close-ups of stuff. And I will be speeding the video up, I won't be doing it slow all the way through. This camera is a bit slow to start. So the white lines, the main lines in the antlers. Right, get into it. So the first measurement you want is the length of the main beam. Where are we going to? So you want to go to the base of the burr, and every little fold is where you want to push it in. Go to the next area where there's a fold, hold it, you can let go of the bottom now because you're holding it there, and just work your way up. So it's 35 7/8 on the left. So everything's measured in 1/8 of an inch. So if it's 4/8, it's not a half, it's 4/8. Just so you know, and then everything gets added up at the end. Next is the length of the tipple tines. This is SCI, by the way, the first one. With this you want to take a ruler, hold it on the beam so you line up with the beam through there, and then the point there is where you want to measure from, and follow the line of the point. So brow tine, which is T1, twelve and 5/8. Bay tine, 4 2/8. Tray tine, 4. And you want to measure on the back of the tine, not on the front of it. 12. Right, circumference of the burr. So hold in place and make sure you get it all the way around on the widest point of this burr. 9 4/8. Right, so let's just mark all these so we know we've measured them. So this is the 4th point. So we got brow tine, bay tine, tray tine, and this is going into the crown. So 4th point. It's quite good to have someone to hold stuff for you while you're doing this as well. It can get quite fiddly on your own. 12 3/8. Mark it because it can get confusing, especially if you've got a stag with a big crown on it. It doesn't really matter what order you do these top ones, as long as you're consistent, and then everything seems to add up at the end. So we'll do this top one that comes off the main beam. Turn my tape round into inches. Just 5. Mark it. Right, so we've got quite a wide span in here, it's going to get quite interesting. So that's our main beam there. So you want to go through here. I want to go through the back. So I want to go through the back of here and line everything up through that main beam. 9 1/8. Mark it. Next point, so if we imagine going down the side of that point and joining onto the main beam again, nine, so just so everyone knows, I'm not an official measurer. I've been shown how to measure an SCI by an official measurer, but this isn't official. To get stuff scored official, you need someone that's done the course, has all the paperwork to do the official measuring. Douglas, I've actually never measured a head in Douglas. I've done lots of research on measuring this in Douglas, which will be next. So nothing's official, and if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me, because no doubt I'm not getting it right in some areas, but any advice you can give me, please tell me. So I call this just green scoring. Once an animal's dead like this, you've got to wait 6 months to get it dry, so you can measure it officially anyway. The antlers do shrink back. Right, so sorry guys, the rubbish truck came in, so I had to stop filming. But we'll carry on. With SCI, the next measurement you want is C1 and C2, which is the width of the main beam. So the first one, C1, is between the bay and tray tine. So you want the thinnest point between the bay and tray tine. 6 1/8. And then the next measurement is between the tray and the crown. So this part of the beam, the thinnest part, five and 4/8. And the last measurement you want, apart from all the points, is the inside of the main beams. So it's the widest point on the inside of the main beams. So it's from the inside of the beam to the inside of the beam on the other side at the widest point, but in a straight line across. So it's 29. And then you measure everything the same on the other side and add it all up on the method 20 sheet. It gives you ways of adding it all together, and I'll give you the measurement at the end of this once I add it all up, after I finish the Douglas scoring as well. Now the Douglas scoring, I'm just taking the rubber bands off so I know which one's still the main beam, but taking the rubber bands off the rest of the points so I don't get confused anywhere. So you've still got your main beam measurement, which is the same, done the same way. So I'll just write that in because it's the same as the SCI, I can swap it over. Now with measuring the points on Douglas, it is a little bit different. This camera here should show it. So before we were measuring across with the ruler on the main beam and measuring from that point up. This is where you need your chalk. So here you want to see where it intersects with the main beam and draw a circle with your chalk, that width, something like that, and then take the center of that circle is where you measure your point from. So it's easier to go around with your chalk, draw all your circles and your centers first. With your brow tine, just measure from the bottom of the coronet where it meets onto the bone. So that's essentially the same as SCI. But with all the rest of your points, you want to draw the circle in big areas like here, for instance. You'll be able to see it on this camera. You want to fill in that whole area with the circle. These 2 points here will be measured from the same point. Like that. So we've got all our circles in. So our brow tine, which is the same as the SCI, we're doing the left side for this, was 12 and 5/8. Our coronet's the same, it's 9 and 4/8. Right, bay tine. So we're measuring from the center of our circle where we've put our dot, 5 and 2/8. Tray tine, one thing with the Douglas, 12 and 7/8. With Douglas, so every tine you measure, so say for instance the 2 brow tines we measure here, you take the shortest one and double it. Bay tines, measure both sides, shortest one, double it. Tray tine, same, all the way. If you've got an extra point, for instance, like this is a 15 pointer, so the 15th point will not count because there's not one on the other side, because the other side's on 0. So for instance, if the 15th point, the extra point on this side let's call it this one, was 4 inches, and we haven't got a 16th point on the other side, 0 is less than that amount of that time, so that's 0, it just gets cut off. Works more on everything being even. Tops, twelve and 3/8. Just remember, I'm not a qualified measurer, so this isn't official. Eight and 4/8. Don't forget to put your rubber bands on either. I haven't been doing it, but I should be. 4 and 7/8. So that's that side measured. With the beam on these, you measure between your bay and your tray, which will be the same for the other one, which is 6 and 1/8. Now there's 2 measurements here that you don't double. We're still in frame. Go this way a little bit. So there's your inside span, which these guys call your span, which will be the same as your SCI one. So that was 29. And then there's also your outside span, which is just at the same point, but from out over and over your beams. So we're 34. So those 2 measurements carry straight through to your total. With all the rest of your points, your shortest side is doubled. If I've got anything wrong, please let me know. With the SCI I'm fairly confident, but the Douglas not so confident. But I'm interested to see what it scores in comparison to SCI to Douglas. So I'm going to turn the cameras off, measure the other sides, and then come back to you with the 2 scores. Alright team, so we've just finished adding everything up. So SCI scored 267 and 2/8, which is around where I thought it was. Just remember, these aren't official scores. And Douglas, just because he's a little bit uneven, he's got the odd short point and stuff, he's 278 and 4/8. I kind of feel like I've missed some measurement in there, so if anyone knows more than me, please let me know. Thanks for watching. We're all going to be good. Don't panic. See you tomorrow.